Okay, today, boys and girls, we're going to talk about a movie I never meant to see, The Cutthroats 9, back in 1972 or 73. Now, the reason I say I wasn't going to see The Cutthroats 9 was because there was a movie that was code billed with, which was this brand new horror movie that I really wanted to see. So I'm over in New York around 42nd Street about, 9 o'clock at night, and I was supposed to meet Big Al to go see this movie. But obviously Big Al got himself into something else and never showed up. So I wandered over to Club 44 where my friend Lisa was tending bar, who was a little tweaked because she was all by herself. So I went in and had a beer, and I go, well, I'm going to see a movie. And she goes, well, no, hang around. I said, what do you mean hang around? She goes, I'm all alone. I don't want to be here alone. I said, well, no, I want you to hang around here. So being that her other job was sort of a professional escort, she made me a couple promises that would make it worth me while hanging around. And one of those promises was free beer. I asked if she could throw a couple shots in with that, but no. But being that Club 44 was the type of bar that when you hung out in, somebody would come in and buy the bar, so I'd get a shot. So in the interim, I ran it. This guy, Tony, came in, and we decided to walk around the block and score some weed, and do that. So long story short, with the bar closed at 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, I thought we were going to go back to her place, but she decided she wanted to go to this after-hours bar to unwind. Well, her unwinding was about 6 shots of tequila with beer chasers. Then it's around 6 o'clock in the morning, we decide to go for breakfast. Now, I'm completely buzzed at this point, liquor, weed, whatever. So we go to this little diner where she proceeds to have a greasy order of scrambled eggs and hash browns. And we go back to her apartment where she starts talking to God on the porcelain telephone. In other words, I'm holding the back of her head while she's barfing in the toilet. Her roommate comes in, looks at her, looks at me, and she goes, hey, Chief, you better hit the road before the road hits you. So I'm like, okay, there's not going to be any fun here, and I'm basically too fucked up to have any fun. So I go to Port Authority to take a bus back to Jersey, and of course, I get on the wrong bus. So the bus lets me off at Central Avenue in East Orange, New Jersey, where I look up the street, and there's a marquee of a Grindhouse, the Hollywood Theater, and this movie is playing with The Cutthroats 9. So I'm like, okay, I'm saved. I can see this movie. So I go pay the $3 to get in, sit down as the credits are starting, and promptly pass out. All right, I wake up. The movie's over. Now there's something rolling for The Cutthroats 9, which is obviously a Western, not a horror movie. So I'm like, okay, I'm out of here. But for some reason, my legs just didn't want to work. So I'm stuck there. This movie is about basically a bunch of convicts in a gold mine that are being brought down in chains by Sergeant Brown, played by Robert Hundar, the only name in the movie, and his daughter, Emma Cohen. Robert Hundar was in a bunch of spaghetti westerns, including Sabata and a bunch of other things. But anyway, they got all these guys chained up in this wagon, and they're attacked by bandits who kill the cavalry escort. And I mean kill them, I mean cave in their skulls, cut their throats, and the horses take off. I felt really bad for the horses, and this whole thing is dumped with these prisoners. Now, these prisoners are chained together, and Sergeant Brown's going to take them to, their, whatever they're supposed to go, their jail. So they're basically trudging behind him, except one of the guys had a broken leg, and the other prisoners decided to kill him during the night. Well, Brown, being the staunch disciplinarian that he is, makes them drag him along. So the next night, they set the body on fire. So Brown wakes up and is not pleased to see the barbecue that's awaiting the morning. So he chops the guy's arm off, and they continue on until one guy says, I'm not going any further. Brown says, no problem, shoots him in the head and blows his eyeball out. This is really graphic shit for whatever. So now there's a big argument between Sergeant Brown and the convicts, and being this is his dub, this is all in a monotone. So if you've never heard anybody argue in a monotone, you'll never know what you're missing. So they trudge on, and more things happen. There's a backstory about one of these convicts murdered Brown's wife, disemboweled her, and stuff like that. It gets crazier, but during this whole thing, the soundtrack sort of goes in and out. Like, at one point it's really low, then for no reason it hits a screeching crescendo. Now these guys are cold and miserable, and so am I, because I'm sitting in this unheated grindhouse, can't move my legs, and hungover, and I'm shivering. Well, eventually the convicts find out that the chains that are holding them is actually the gold they were smuggling out of the mine. So they're sitting on thousands of dollars of gold, and they decide that they have to get rid of Brown. Actually, they hate Brown anyway. So they come to this old barn, and somehow they get the upper hand on Brown and proceed to rape his daughter and have him tied up. They set Brown's building on fire, and Brown burns alive. They take the daughter with them. One of the degenerate alcoholics that was involved in the rape breaks loose and goes back to the burned barn and imagines he's seeing Brown rise from the ashes. And he runs right into the group that originally ambushed the detail. So there's a huge gunfight. He's killed. They're all killed. It winds up that the one prisoner, the young prisoner that was really sympathetic to Brown's daughter, was the one who killed her mother. So now they come to this trading post run by a guy named Caldwell. Well, Caldwell has history with one of the guys, and they hang him up and disembowel him with a saber, which prompts the wino 3 rows behind me to wake up and go, "Look at all them guts hanging out," and falls back to sleep. So now there's a whole bunch of other shit going on, but the daughter finds a stick of dynamite while the 2 guys are arguing about the gold, lights it on fire, blows the whole place up, and finish pops up on the screen, ending her torment and pretty much ending mine in the process. Well, this was put out in a limited edition years ago by basically a weird video company called Eurovista, and you can see on the back there's the soldier with the throat cut. Of course, this was a film chain right off probably what I saw. Somebody just did a Blu-ray of it, which looks a lot better and is a lot gorier, and I can turn it around. You can see a little bit of the carnage right here. I mean, this film is really not for the squeamish, and like I said, it sucked me in because it was supposed to be a horror movie, and they actually gave out a fright mask with it. To this day, and I have researched this, and I have tried to find out what the fuck was the movie that I originally went to see. I can't find any print ads on it. I can't find anybody who remembers it. Frank Henenlotter said the Cutthroats 9 played just about every other week on 42nd Street. Who am I to argue with that? But it also brings to mind another movie I saw that my friends might run on their channel, The Mad Executioners, which that was the co-feature, and I never went to see that co-feature, but I remember that, and I can't remember the original. And I don't know if this dog is in the focus or not, but she's looking at the camera. Say hi, Boots. Yeah, she's sitting on my foot, and she doesn't look like the thing in the other drawing. But anyway, that's the Cutthroats 9. I don't know if this is out of print or not, but it might be on YouTube, so you can check it out there. But it's a gory, nasty film, and I froze my ass off seeing it. So, hey, we're close to getting 1,000 subscribers now, so tell your friends that tune in, and I thank you all for subscribing and for tuning in. And that's all we got for today, so we'll see you on the flip side. This is 42nd Street Pete saying stay safe, and I'm out of here.